Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for coming. Obviously, it's this time of the year. In the springtime, it's unique because we haven't lost a game yet, so that's good. But I think it's a great time to develop some younger good guys. And I think that's happened. Obviously, we got some guys up front, Herkett, Craig, and Graves is playing very well, but you look at Llewellyn as a guy that's added a little bit more. You see him growing a little bit. I think Pittman's done a good job, and Allen up front has also done a good job. So, you start building a little bit more depth up front. Obviously when you lose guys and got to replace them, so that's helping us a little bit. The linebacker, obviously, Jay, Nick, and Fish, them guys are very experienced at the second level, but when you see a guy like Harold or Shire, he's coming around a little bit. Rex Roth is doing a good job, so we're building some more depth there, and it's kind of nice to see that. And obviously on the back end, the third level, you have Castro that I thought had a really productive year last year. Quinn Schulte, solid, guy run there, but we need some other guys to step up. I think Xavier has improved a little bit, so everybody's moving forward in that little group. But the surprising thing, are some young guys like John Nestor has really came out and he's been playing well. I like the way he's playing. Obviously, Deshaun Lee's getting a lot of work, and T.J. Hall. But the guy probably maybe the surprise a little bit of, not maybe a surprise for us, but Lutmer's really done. Zach Lutmer has really improved at the safety position. He's made a lot of good plays, and he's moving forward there. So with all that, just went over the, where I think guys are going and where we're adding guys to help us out for next year. Obviously, we have 8 guys returning, but that doesn't mean anything going into next season.
Hi, Phil. Scott Docterman with The Athletic. I wanted to ask you about the defensive line. The correlation between Iowa's success defensively has come a lot of cases because you've had a lot of good depth and you've been able to rotate guys. Where are guys, say, 6 through 9 on that unit? Are they as far along as you need them to be or want them to be? Or how far do they need to be before you feel like going into the fall you can throw 8 guys out there in a given game?
I think we're getting a lot closer to that point. There's some guys over there that's taking some strides, and you look at them, and you look at Pittman. We would say last year, he was a guy just trying to figure out, where to be on the field a little bit. But there's some things out there that he's stepped up his game a little bit, and I think obviously he's done a good job. Llewellyn, like I said, I think he has improved it. Now, are we too deep all the way across? Can we find another guy over there? I think we have some other guys, Gaffney, or you got Hubert. These 2 guys have been grinded in there, and I think they do a good job, especially when they're both in there together. I think, so we'll find another guy. Maybe it might be 2 or 3 guys adding that 8th guy, but we'll have enough guys.
Hi, Phil. John Steppe, Cedar Rapids Gazette. When you have, if I'm doing my math right, 8 returning starters, a lot of 5th-year, 6th-year guys, how do you kind of balance giving them their time and maybe setting aside some time for some more developmental guys to get maybe some time with the ones?
At the beginning of practice, we kind of told some of these guys that we're going to make sure that we cut their reps out because we needed some other guys to step up a little bit. And I think they've been pretty good, but after a while, after the first or second practice, these guys are standing on the sideline and, hey, they jump in there when they're not supposed to be in there, and or at least I didn't think they were supposed to be in there. But, so I think it's good, and it shows a little bit of development leadership for them guys. It's hard to go out there and not practice for a little bit and then sit here and jump into a, game situation. And so I think they've been, they want to keep fresh, too. They don't want to get rusty, which is a good sign.
Hey, Phil. Elliot Clough, Rivals. You mentioned Zach Lutmer being, I guess, kind of a surprise for you, maybe more surprise for us than for you. But I guess in what ways has he shined to you this spring?
Well, the opportunities when you put him out there and I see him move around. Obviously, he has a great skill set and his movement-wise, but his reaction and how he falls into some plays that he's made that you sit there and say, that's pretty impressive, that he's, he might be chasing a guy and how hard and his effort and, and his commitment to trying to be better. And I've been flipping him around between, free safety, strong safety, and cash. And I think he can play all positions. So, to get that, that's rare to do. It's hard to find those guys. And I think he's just showing a little bit. He still needs to grow. He still needs to mature and be a little bit more vocal. Being a young guy coming in and trying to control the back end is not easy. You're the one that has to be confident, and I think he's gaining confidence by the day.
Adam Jacoby, Rivals. I wanted to ask, obviously this is not your first off-season losing seniors and all that, but how do you replace the leadership that you lose from somebody like a Joe Evans on that defensive line? Are you looking for a new leader or seeing somebody step up, or what's that process like from your perspective?
Well, losing Joe, which was obviously a great leader. Logan Lee, I think, is another guy that's a leadership over there that you can do it. But that's the whole growing up aspect of some of the other guys that are coming up. You look at Aaron Graves, might not have been the top leader last year in that group, but now you start seeing him coming. The better he's playing, the better that you can lead. And so I see, like Herkett, I see him the same way. Like, hey, the better he's playing right now, the respect that he has and the way people play, that's how you become a leader, and I think it's the way you go about your business and the demands that they come. And obviously, Joe was very vocal, and he was fun. Obviously, he's, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years, he's been here a while. So, but I think he left some of that stuff, and that's exactly what it's been fun to see, these guys gelling together.
Hi, Phil. Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. You had a lot of guys on defense could have left, decided to come back, though. How did you just kind of see that unfold from your perspective, and was there any just notable, instances of guys telling you they're coming back or anything like that?
Well, it's always kind of hard when you're going through that transition of like, hey, you're going to go out into the real world, whether you go into the NFL or you're going to go to dental school like Quinn is going to do, and he had an opportunity to push that back, so it gave him a reason that he could come back and start it. But everybody has different philosophies or reasons why they want to go. I just thought that the connection that they all had and saw the opportunities here, what could they do this year? How can we be better than we were last year? And I think the connection is really good with these guys, the way they've been together so long and playing together. It's hard to leave, because once you leave, there's no coming back.
Hey, Phil, Chad Leistikow, Des Moines Register. I wanted to actually ask about the NFL draft, which is a week from today. You may have your first-round defensive back since you've been in Iowa chosen, but you've had a lot of successful defensive backs in the NFL. So I'm curious, what would that mean to you to have a first-round pick in the defensive backfield? And also, why do you feel like Iowa defensive backs are so well prepared and almost like overplaying where they're picked typically, at the next level?
Well, I don't want to jinx them, but it's scary. I think it would be, obviously, I think he has the ability to play in that league, and where he's actually drafted is, it varies with every team, what's their need and where they're going to play him at. Are they going to play him at corner? They're going to play him inside of the cash, or are they going to play him at safety? So, to me, I just know he's a good football player. I know that wherever he goes, he's going to be successful, and I think the opportunity, the way these guys, study the game of football kind of helps them out in their further career. And I think they've seen that with other guys that went through this program that are playing in the league right now. And obviously some guys are getting their second contracts that they kind of aware of and how they went about their business. So I think they see that. And I think most of the guys that come out of here that are draftable, they seem to stick on the team just because of the work ethic that they have and the routines that they set during the week of how they got to prepare. And I think the same thing is going to carry over to the NFL, and I think that's what helps them out a lot.
Hey, Phil. Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Wanted to ask you a twofold question. One, what's been challenging, different about the offense that you faced this spring? What's impressed you there? And did you ever find out who set up the Broyles thing? You said you were going to find out who did that to you.
Yeah, that was, I think my wife had something to do with it. They contacted her, so, I don't know what I can do about it. So that kind of ended that. But going back to what was your first question, the offense. Well, you know, it's kind of funny. There's 11 guys out there. Okay, they're either going to run the ball or they're going to pass the ball. Okay, and these teams go back whether they want to get it out quick or whether they're going to go out and run some nakeds and play action pass you. It's all the same thing. Now, is it reduced more or is it spread out? So what it does with some of the motion over there, you really got to concentrate and focus on where your eyes are, and you have to be able to, it's like driving in Chicago doing rush hour. You know what I mean? And sometimes it goes, but they're not always doing that. So I think you got to keep things simple and know how to leverage the ball and understand it. And I think after, you know, first couple of days of seeing some things, I think our guys have been comfortable of getting to know it, and it's kind of like a standard thing right now. It's just a way of doing something differently, but they still run the inside zone, outside zone. They still run the nakeds. You know, they still run the same pass concepts. But there is some motion in there that you got to make sure that, you know, you got to see things and don't be misfitting, and make sure you can stop the run and, you know, don't give up the big passes.
Finish up with John, Elliott, and Tyler.
John Seppi, Cedar Rapids Gazette again. You were mentioning Maxwell a lot earlier. Is there like a particular aspect of his game where you've really seen him especially grow in these last 3 or 4 months?
I think when we sit there, you know, we've only been out for the last couple weeks of practice, so, you know, obviously he's getting bigger, stronger, and faster and all that. But I think his ability, understanding what it takes to be a good football player and understanding assignment football, that you have to take care of certain things. You know, I think he's been growing. He doesn't make as many mistakes, I guess, as you do, so that's helpful. But I think just the way he goes about his business, he's getting better. And you see little jumps at a time, and then you keep on. It's just like everybody, you know. You start seeing them grow a little bit, and then all of a sudden they become a good player.
Hey, Phil, Elliott Clough, Rivals. When it comes to losing a player like Cooper, especially when you've got 8 other returners coming back, I guess what's it been like to have, I'm assuming, Deshaun step into that role again after he started several games last season? I guess, does that provide you some level of confidence with what's going on outside despite losing a first rounder at corner?
Well, you lose a player like Cooper, which is, you know, he's very special, I think, as a player. I think other guys, you know, learn from him how you got to go about your business. What are you doing in, you know, the days that we're not in the building over here? Are you in here working out, or what are you doing to help yourself be the best player that you can be? And I think there's great examples of guys, you know, that can say, hey, this guy's really worked his butt off to get to where he was, to have this opportunity. And I think, you know, between Deshaun Lee and T.J. Hall and I think Nestor, I mean, these guys are really, really playing well right now. And then, and hopefully, you know, there's some guys that we were only down to 3 right now because Harris is, you know, still trying to get back, and I think he'll be ready for the summer. So I think we got a good pool of guys out there, but everybody's going to have to be a little bit better. You know what I mean? And that goes from the defensive line to the linebackers to the back end. Everybody has to be a little bit better when you lose a good player. You know, and we lost a couple guys up front. You know, we were lucky to keep most of the linebackers. So, you know, so everybody's going to, if they improve a little bit, hopefully we get back to potentially to get back where we were last year.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. Seth got kind of an internal promotion, took on another title. What makes him so valuable to this program?
I think just you know, the way he goes about his business. You know, I know he was back here as a GA here a long time ago, and I think he's very detailed in what he does. I think we really work well together, and he understands the way I would like to call a defense and stuff like that. So it's been very helpful on doing some things with the front and manipulating the front. But I just think this is the way he goes about his business, you know. He's eager, you know, he communicates well, and, you know, I think he's done a great job in coaching, and he's been at all 3 levels, you know, coaching with the defensive line before. He's been with, you know, in the back end with me before, and then obviously he's been, you know, the linebacker coach. So I think all the qualities you look in the guy of his leadership and skill-wise, I think has been really good for him and has been helpful for me.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.